Good morning students. I am Dr. Vandana Gupta and today I will be introducing the memory management module of the operating system. Memory is very important resource of computer hardware which need to be managed by the operating system. So part of the operating system which is responsible for managing and organizing the memory is memory management module. And this module will be discussed in various segments. In this video, I will be introducing the basic concepts related with memory management. The flow of my presentation is like this. Different types of memories present in the computer system, they are discussed. Why memory is considered such an important hardware, what are the different concerns before the memory management module which need to be addressed and handled properly so that system efficiency is not compromised, and how main memory is organized and managed by memory management module. This all we will learn in this video. Our computer system has different types of memories which can be broadly divided into two categories. One is permanent and another is volatile. As the name indicates, permanent memory retain their content even when the power is switched off. On the other hand, volatile memories are temporary memories and their content is erased when power is switched off. This figure explains how CPU interacts with these different memories, and different types of memories are also shown in this figure. CPU interacts with RAM and registers directly, but it cannot interact with secondary storage or the permanent storage directly. And we all know that when we want to store our program or application, then secondary storage is used for the purpose. So if I want to execute a program which is present in the secondary storage, then first of all it should be brought in RAM, then only it can be accessed by processor for further execution. Then CPU fetches the instructions and data from RAM, brings it to registers and execute it. This is how the entire execution happens. So to execute any application or program or the software, its presence in main memory is must. Main memory is very important hardware. So in this video, for further discussion, I will be using, out of all the different types of memories, I will be concentrating only on the main memory. Since it is central to the working of our computer system, it can be represented as a large array of bytes. This is how it can be represented. So it can be thought of as a collection of bytes. Each byte stands for one location which is having its own unique address. These addresses are in sequence and hexadecimal notation is used to represent the addresses present in the hexadecimal notation is used to present the addresses of different locations in main memory. Main memory can be broadly divided into two parts. One part is occupied by the operating system. It is known as system area. Since operating system is the software which is active and running all the time, and we had seen to execute any software or the application, its presence in main memory is must. So operating system should also reside in the main memory all the time. So this area, a particular area of the main memory is reserved for the purpose. It is known as system area. The remaining main memory is known as the user area and it is dedicated for user processes. So if suppose the size of our main memory is 1 kilobyte, it means the total bytes present is 1024. If we consider one byte as equivalent to one location, So our main memory of size 1 KB, it has 1024 different locations. We need 1024 different addresses to represent these locations. The addresses in the main memory starts from 0. So from 0 to 1023, all the locations will be assigned the different addresses. So addresses are in sequence, they are in hexadecimal notation. So these are some of the important points about the main memory organization. When user processes are loaded in the user area, this is how the main memory looks like. One part is occupied, that is the system area is occupied by operating system. The lower portion, that is the user area, here the user processes are loaded. So suppose we have three processes P1, P2 and P3. They are currently present in our main memory. Then they will be assigned space in this main memory like this as per their requirement. Some area may be left free, or if we have more processes, they can be brought in the main memory and they can be kept here. Moving on to the address space. Address space is the range of legal addresses that the process may access. So when we are bringing the user processes in main memory, they are assigned some space in the main memory, and these processes are allowed to operate only in their assigned space for the sake of protection. They are not allowed to interfere with each other, otherwise they can hamper the working of others. To avoid this, the designated area for the processes, it is fixed, and this fixed address space for the process is its legal address space in which it can execute and it can access the contents from the memory. So address space is defined as the range of legal addresses that the process may access. So this table shows the different processes which are present currently in the main memory and the space occupied by them, and as per the space occupied by the processes in the main memory, their address space is defined. So suppose if our operating system is stored from location 0 to 1200, then its address space, its range of addresses will be from 0 to 1200. Process P1, then it will be process P1 when it was loaded in the main memory. Then if initially our entire memory was free, then it can be assigned space starting from location 1201 onwards. Suppose if its starting address is 1201, then as per the size requirement of the process, here the process size is 530 bytes, so it means P1 will be requiring 530 bytes for its storage. So it will be assigned 530 locations starting from location number 1201. So its address space will become 1201 to 1730. Same applies for the remaining processes also. There are two major concerns for memory management module which need to be handled in a proper way. The first concern is to improve the system efficiency, and second is to protect processes from interfering with one another. To improve the system efficiency, the first way to improve it is by increasing the speed of memory access. Now, what is the meaning of this term? We all know CPU can interact with main memory directly, and it interacts with the registers also. CPU fetches the instruction and data from main memory and executes them in the registers. So these different memories have different speeds. So the time required to get the data from these different types of memories is different. CPU is very important resource and it is very fast. Its time should be managed carefully. So To reduce its waiting time, what happens when CPU executes something in the registers? It generally happens in one CPU cycle. But if CPU tries to access something from RAM, then speed of RAM is very slow in comparison to speed of CPU. So it may take multiple CPU cycles till the time the contents are made available by main memory for further use. So during this in between time, CPU has to wait. This is the wastage of CPU time and it affects the system efficiency. To overcome it, another level of memory is introduced by the memory management module, and this is known as cache memory. This memory is faster than RAM but slower than CPU registers. So in place of fetching instructions and data directly from RAM, CPU can fetch them from cache and it will take less time in comparison to the previous situation, and we can have some saving in terms of the time, and overall system efficiency may be improved. Second way to improve the system efficiency is to increase the CPU utilization. There we try to increase the CPU utilization by reducing the time that was required to access the memory. Here we are trying to reduce the idle time of CPU. So CPU utilization is generally improved when we use the multi-programming concept. The idea of multi-programming concept, it improves the CPU utilization by keeping the multiple processes in the main memory simultaneously. So CPU can switch from one process to another process as and when required. So if one process goes on waiting, CPU can be assigned the other process. Suppose we have a main memory in which three processes are loaded, P1, P2, P3, and CPU is switching among these three processes. If currently all the three processes are in waiting state due to some input-output work, then CPU will not be having anything to execute, so it will be in waiting, it will be in idle mode. This will be the wastage of CPU time. To avoid it, what we can do, we can bring more processes in the main memory. Already there is space available, free memory space as shown here. So we can bring more processes in the main memory and CPU can be assigned to these newly arrived processes. So CPU utilization may be improved. So by increasing the degree of multiprogramming is the number of processes present in the main memory at a particular moment of time. So by increasing this number, we can improve the CPU utilization, and again in turn it may improve the system efficiency. So we had done the two ways in which the system efficiency can be improved. That is, first is by reducing the time which is required to access the instructions and data from RAM via cache. This can be done. Second improvement we can achieve by increasing the degree of multiprogramming. We can increase the degree of multiprogramming till a limit, till we can bring more processes in our main memory till there is space available. If space is not available, it is not possible to bring more processes. Second major concern to be handled by the memory management module is to provide the protection of processes from interference. This can be done by specifying the address space and allowing a process to work within its specified address space only. When a process is loaded in the main memory, then a specific area of main memory is assigned to it. This is the area of the memory which is the legal address space for the process, and it can access and operate within this area only. So address spaces should not be conflicting and a process should not be allowed to access anything from the address space of some other process. This protection mechanism is implemented by memory management module with the help of a pair of base and limit registers. Base register stores the starting address of the process in the memory, and limit register specifies the size of the process. Now the legal address space for the process will be from base to base plus limit minus 1. This will be the range of legal addresses for a particular process. So whenever CPU starts executing a process, then base and limit registers are loaded with the relevant values for the particular process. And if CPU need to access the main memory, then the address through which the contents are demanded, this address is checked for its legality with the help of these two registers. This is how it is done. First, the address is compared with the base register. If it is greater than or equal to the base register content, then further it is checked whether it lies within the range or not. If it is within the range, it means this is a valid address from the address space of the process and access to the memory is allowed. On the other hand, if some illegality is discovered, then a trap is generated to the operating system to report that there was a try to access the illegal address and it is not allowed to access the memory.